All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing great. Um, so I'm going to start this presentation by talking about a situation that I went through, and maybe you guys remember. I don't know if you guys can recall an activity that we did in this same class about asking high-level and low-level questions to each other, where we basically had to get in teams and formulate around 2 or 3 low-level or high-level questions, and then we would go back to our group and we would ask them to each other. So in this session that we had with Irasema, I was asked this particular question, which put me in a complicated situation, I would say. So I was asked by, I think it was Selena, this question, which was, how has this BA helped you become the teacher you are now? So at the beginning, when I first heard this question, I was a bit, let's say, shocked because I didn't know what to answer. I remember my brain looking something like this, because I tried to remember everything that I had learned through the BA, all my courses, all the concepts, all my teachers, but somehow I couldn't. And I felt like the answer that I gave was kind of incomplete and didn't really reflect on my experience. So after the class, I was thinking and thinking, okay, what would have I answered? What would have happened if I had been asked this question in a different way? What would have happened if I had more time to think and reflect on this? Perhaps have a different procedure, more time, perhaps like writing about it. I think I could even write a whole essay about this. What would I have given a more complete answer than I can actually make my experience justice? So after thinking about this issue and this situation and reading this, I just found a lot of similarities about what I went through and what happens in this reading. So today we're going to look through the article called Critical Reflection in a TESL course, Mapping Conceptual Change. So this reading somehow addresses that. How can educators measure what they have learned, what participants have learned after a TEFL course? And this paper examines the conceptual changes of 7 MA participants in Canada as a result of taking an EFL course. Yes, so what happened? How did they measure what these participants have learned through the course? Because certainly you learn a lot in a BA and in an MA. So it can be a tricky question and a complicated procedure if we think about it. How can we measure what our students learn? So in this study, what they did was analyze it through concept maps. Now, concept maps, I think you have all done them in some stages of your education. So basically, you have the main topic here, and then you have subtopics. These are where your ideas develop. So we are going to talk now about how they did that, about the experiment. So how did they measure these changes? So first of all, they had the participants do a pre-course map, a concept map on the first day, where they told them to reflect and to create this map based on what TESL meant for them and what did they think that the MA would teach them. This mainly to look at the preconceptions, their experiences, their beliefs, and their source. Where did this come from? Because as it says on the article, a lot of them had already some years of experience and had already taken a TESL course. So this first question tries to address what did they know? And the second one, what did they want to know? So in order to compare what was important for the participants to know and what were they actually going to learn. And yes, so here I want to do a comparison between the two maps because they had to do two maps. One on the first day of class in their MA and one in the last day in order to see the changes, what new things came in and what remained the same. So here we can see that in both of the concept maps, the participants included teaching theory and methods. However, this changed throughout the course. Yes, so first we can see that the participants thought about teaching methods in a more, let's say, fixed way, okay? And then they changed it and they thought that it was more about students' autonomy. Also, we can see that in both maps, on the pre-course map and the post-course map, they mention culture. However, this has also a different outcome, let's say. And this is also very important to consider since most of the participants came from another country that wasn't Canada. So we could see that for them it was very important. However, we can see that they included this aspect, but there were more important aspects that were mentioned. Here we also have professional development. In this post-course map, we can see that there are more students. Here we can see the number of students that included these concepts in their concept maps. And here it has a more, let's say, general approach to the reflection. However, here it all turned to be more into self-reflection and critical thinking, okay? And well, here we also see that language learning and acquisition was included. However, in this second map, it wasn't included. And we can see more concepts emerging in this post-course map. This means that they noticed new things after their MA course. For example, curriculum design, they learned about it. They also learned more about theories, about corrective feedback, applied linguistics, etc. These are new pieces of knowledge that they acquired. And we also have critical reflection. This is very important because it was mentioned by 23 times, okay? So this means that it was mentioned in different categories, as it was 7 students, okay? So here we could notice that um, after the course, the participants were more reflective. They changed their beliefs. Also, they were more self-aware. Okay, so among the things that were mentioned by the participants, I'm not gonna quote them, but I'm gonna say the general ideas. It says here in the article that after the course, and this was measured by the concept maps, after the course, they started to question their beliefs. They started to shift from a more traditional way of teaching and viewing education and learning to a more holistic, more humanistic, a more, let's say, a more open approach. Also, people mentioned cultural norms. Yes, so they started to reflect how um, education and participation and overall the classroom dynamics were different in their home countries and in Canada. So after the course, they changed their perspective, and it opened their views and their panorama. Also, it mentioned that people started reflecting about politics and education, how everything is linked. And we can see that overall, participants started reflecting on why they do certain actions in their teaching and in their classroom, that everything has a why in it, everything has a purpose. So overall, we can see here a big difference between the first map, that was the one that they did on the first day of class, and the one on the second, on the last day of class, where we can see more critical thinking and more awareness of what teaching is like. And here we also see that they added new ideas and new knowledge to what they already had. So through these concept maps, we can see how they were initially and how they changed. And concept maps, I think they are very useful because they help you notice in a more visual way what changed. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about critical thinking. So this particular procedure, let's say, helps us question ourselves. Why are we doing certain things? And it also helps us see our developmental stages during our learning process and how we are evolving. All this process trains our mind into thinking, what have we done? And how have we changed? It also helps teachers to become familiar with reflecting, being introspective, and also having these maps overall, having a visual representation of that, of how have you changed, helps you retrieve ideas when you want to talk about it, when you want to have classroom discussions. For example, here it says that in the study, in the experiment, they have classroom discussions after they carried out their concept maps as a group. So having this visual representation helped them have their clear ideas in mind and be able to go back to them. Yes, Also, this is very important for teachers because it helps you focus on the goals and where you want to lead the course. And for instance, if the educators were implementing this course the second year, they would maybe know which would be the areas of opportunity they could focus on. Okay, so I want to mention a little bit what impacts does these concept maps have on the EFL classroom. So I found this information in another article, which was really interesting, called The Impact of Concept Mapping on EFL Learners' Critical Thinking. So here it mentions a lot that this kind of concept maps can influence motivation and the self-efficacy beliefs that students have on themselves. It can help their learner identity because they can see how much they have learned and where are they going. They can have a more clear idea about it. As it says as well, it also creates self-regulating abilities, knowing what they know and what they want to know. And this can be really useful both for teachers and students. So as a conclusion, I would like to go back to my questions about the situation that I went through. So what would have happened if I had been asked this question in a different way? I think what would have happened is that I would have had more time to reflect because that is a very complex question. You need to think about what has actually happened, what have you been through, and regards following this procedure, I think it would have been very useful to see, for instance, how did I think at the beginning, my first semester me, and how have I now changed and evolved. I think you all remember a bit about how you were and how you thought as first semester students. I think you can all see how much have you changed and how much this BA has helped you in many different aspects, both as professionals and as teachers. And certainly, I think, yes, I would have given a more complete answer that I can actually make justice to my experience. So I actually think concept maps are a great tool for you to have clear ideas of what is happening, of what you're doing, of what you've done, and where you are going to. So I thought about these questions in order to discuss in the forum. So first of all, how do you think this procedure could help you solve this question, which was, how has this VA helped you become the teacher you are now? That is the reflection question. And also, do you agree with your first semester you? What has changed and what has remained the same? Well, thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I'll discuss with you guys in the forum, and these are my references. Thank you.